salary and compensation package. Building supplies, we had 375 in here, this date. It doesn't look like we can do anything at this point.
Yeah, because I'm in the same building with the rest of y'all, so I haven't done anything. Maybe at a file I haven't.
So put 375 back in,
Well,
just in case.
yeah, just continue that.
I think it's behind total work.
650,
No, it's behind fire department.
55.
Sorry, I put them in number order. My bad.
They're excellent though. We can't find them, that's our fault, that's yours.
It's there.
It's there.
How much was that?
Now, if it wasn't there, that'd be something else.
Okay. Telephone expenses, it was budgeted at 623. Last year, we're at 439 expended so far. Do you think that is,
I think that'll be the same. There's no thing that's gonna change. Unless they raise their rates.
okay? Now, right here, we talked about department supplies. You had 900 the previous 2 fiscal years. Right now, you spent 509.34.
Yep, so I think we can drop that a little bit, although a lot of things have been, inflation has gone up a lot this year, but I could say we could do 800 easy because we didn't do 749. The department supplies includes mail, right?
Yes, that in paper.
Then, no, let's keep that at 900. We're gonna bail out. This
Yeah.
something that was.
Yeah, especially the last batch of them, right?
Okay, we talked about equipment and tools, you didn't have anything in for last year.
Yeah, I don't see what equipment I have to buy.
Yeah, are you thinking anything on your vehicle, tires,
That's,
windshield wipers or anything?
that's down on travel, right?
Oh, that's on
Vehicle maintenance, okay.
Equipment and tools would be, but we just bought that computer, so
Oh, yeah, yeah.
that was the year before we bought that computer, so unless you need.
I don't foresee anything.
Okay, so we don't have anything for the equipment repair.
Okay.
Fuel and oil. Let's see.
So,
19 to 20, you had 850. In 2021, 500. Year to date, 149.67.
yeah, so I haven't taken my vehicle out of town, like, Bob did a couple times, so I would say leave it at 500, although gas is up a little more, but I'm under budget.
Okay, vehicle maintenance.
I kind of figured at 400 because last year we did air conditioner and window and air conditioner again. So we just got the 2 tires, so I think 400 is good. I don't need a tune-up or anything.
Okay, here we talked about employee welfare.
You need some nerve pills to put up with us.
That's under compensation and travel. As soon as they open up the, the cruise to Jamaica again. Buy more tequila.
So 3250, in the past few years, I hadn't seen it. I don't even know what.
Drug test.
That's for.
Okay. 3250, is that sufficient amendment?
Yeah.
Okay, and in your training budget, you had, it increased last year to 600. You're at 535 now. Is that 600 sufficient or?
Actually, I want to ask for 850 because I want to go to 2 training sessions a year, one being the Alabama Gas and Pipe Fitters meeting in Opelika. And at that meeting, I met the guys who There's a South Alabama code official group. And we had discussed earlier, I don't have it up in my budget this year to go to that meeting, which is in Fairhope or Gulf Shore, somewhere right there. So that will cover me for two of those kind of conferences, and they're both regional. So that would put me in contact with more of the people in my department and in my area.
And travel, you had 600 last year, 480 the year before. Looks like you spent 336.96 so far.
Right. So that is hotel and food. And so if I go to two conferences, I'm going to ask for 1,000 because that's basically $100 a night in a hotel and food. And I paid for my food last time.
$1,000 right now get you 2 nights.
Yeah, really? No,
It's terrible.
He ain't gonna be right on the beach, so maybe.
Oh,
yeah.
sure.
Well, I mean, they book rates. So like the last time it was
Yeah,
like
it'll be a little
100. It was $106. But I didn't stay at the big dollar place. I shopped around and got a better. I just drove 15 more minutes to get there.
Okay.
So that's a modest request. Mind you, I'm willing to drive 50 more minutes and pay $400 less.
Dues and subscriptions.
So the dues went up this year on the code council, which we have. And then I want to get a subscription to that South Alabama code official. So I'm asking for 165.
You said 165?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Professional services.
Okay, so this is the big one that house demolition, emergency tree removal. A couple of times we had to rent equipment at Sterling. So the house that was torn down last year was a simple house that cost us $5,000.
Almost right at 5,000.
We have 3 houses immediately to tear down that are going to be at least 6,000. One's a 2-story, one's concrete block. So I'm saying 24,000, and that should get us 3 to 4 houses demolished.
Does that include the one at the corner of South Alabama and Dean's?
Yes, it does. Additionally, we have a lot of dead trees, and I'm not sure which budget this needs to go under, but we got trees at Wiley Park, and we got
Yeah,
city trees in the
several
right of way. I've asked for 2 bids. One guy hasn't got back with me because he's still cutting trees in Bruton for the tornado. The first bid we got for 18 trees,
Didn't you say 21,000?
21,000. 3 of them are pretty, 3 of them, if they fall, they will damage property on Fountain Drive. There are 3 oak trees in the right of way. They're dying on the top, and they look like they could split off at any time. But if they fall, they hit the neighbor's house
But now,
structure.
in those cases, are they on our right of way?
They're clearly on our right of way.
Okay. Because I know like the park, I know where those are. There's no question there, but
What
No.
about that one at the park, where you turned on the overlook? Is it ours or?
That's the county. I wrote them a letter 2 years ago.
The one?
yeah, the golf course property, right there where they would put that on the spillway.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was one we hoped that they would push over while they were in there, and I still don't know why they didn't push over while they were in there.
Because that's bad.
Because it's so rotten, it'll probably fall in on itself.
Well, when they
But-
started on
but
that
on
lake,
that
when they started,
hill-
they started at lake, it wasn't that bad.
On the hill there,
But now them ones on that hill on halfway between there and the spillway, those are gonna be interesting, yeah.
yeah, because they were on a slope like that. So anyway, the first price I got was 21,000. That's 18 trees.
I think ought to go into Public Works.
Well, I mean, Michael knows about it. I'm just
Yeah, I
telling
know
y'all
that, but-
now.
Billing wise, we gotta pay for it one way or the other.
Okay, so I'm gonna make a note that that's on Public Works.
Michael's gonna come looking for me, won't he? But now, do y'all think though, isn't that, would that be a compliance? I don't,
Well, the only time, so like, if I have to, like, I had to get the 2 trees cut down in someone's backyard because the woman doesn't live there, they didn't answer their mail, they don't answer
Yeah.
the door, and they're leaning over somebody else's property.
yeah,
So we had to emergency do that. That was 850.
Yeah.
I'm already writing letters to people about dead trees in their yard.
Yeah.
And if the neighbors call and say that tree is leaning, then what do we do?
the liability goes back to the person that owns that property.
Right. So we cut it down and bill them.
Yeah.
Rather, I mean, right? I mean, I don't, there's a gray area about how much we
Yeah, I
can
mean,
do, but
I really don't think it's our responsibility at all, but
when someone is not there,
yeah.
that kind of becomes our responsibility, but
It's
there are so many houses empty. I mean,
Yeah.
That's what we got to come back and discuss how to come up with some kind of solution. If we go through at some point in time, is there a process of which we can eventually claim this property and put in something like a trust or
well, I mean, if we
land grant?
If
something
we
like
put a
that?
lien on their taxes and they don't pay the lien, then it becomes our property.
Well,
And then we can dispose of it as we want.
I know that this budget hearing is something that we're gonna have to sit down and draw up some kind of proposal or whatever. Because you said, Melvin, we don't wanna get in business of owning all this. stuff.
you know, the trees is one thing. Most people going $800, $1,000, gonna try clearing it up. There's usually a house there that's got some value to it. But these demolition, these houses, I mean,
We're not gonna recoup the money.
no, we never are. And unless there's some way that they get in court, that they can be contempt of court for not doing it. And, you know, if there's some legal part of that, not just us putting a financial lien on the property.
Well, I can, here again, I can take them to court. I can make a charge. Chipper's got to push it.
But I mean,
And that's like $500. So, for instance, there's a big old pothole in the Marvin's parking lot. And I've served them papers like this needs to be repaired immediately. If you're riding a bicycle and you come around the curve, boom, you could break your neck. If you break your car in it,
Yeah.
a person could fall in it. Okay, so that went out 2 weeks ago. And if they haven't done anything or called me, just call me. Then I'm gonna give them a 30-day notice and then they're gonna get I'm gonna tell Chipper $500 fine every month until they get it repaired. But that's gonna make Chipper have to get up and do some work.
I know that's sometimes difficult, but anyway.
If you go over and stick a Alexander Shannara sign in that pothole, they'll probably get it fixed pretty quick.
Maybe I should put a Alexander Shannara sign in Chipper's front yard.
Well, I think,
Well, like yesterday, I took a lady out there, and she talked about, it, and we went back, they went there.
the Marvin,
Mhm.
you got there?
All right, you get mark up on the
So we
wall
can
for
leave
you.
here, go by and do it.
Okay, well, I won't, I got a lot more to do today than after this, so.
Okay. All right, so basically, you said in professional services, you want to ask for 24.
Correct.
And let's do look at seeing if we really, or all that needs to go toward that direction, some of it toward Public Works.
No, all of
That's
that
just for the
24
houses.
needs to go.
Oh,
in this
okay, that's for the
direction.
houses, okay. that's
That
not the
21,000 is an
Okay,
extra
okay.
sum.
The trees.
Put a note on Michael's.
Yeah.
thing for that.
The 3 oak trees that you're talking about, you go past the Chevron.
Yeah.
First road to the left, you go around there, you'll see them, they're right there next to the road.
Yeah.
Fence on the other side, so.
Okay.
yeah, No doubt they're on the.
They're right. When the wind blows the right direction, one of those for sure is fixing it. I mean, it has every indication is.
Okay, debris removal. You had like 2,000,
Yep.
we're at 751, so you spent 38% of it.
Okay, and we're fixing to hit the high point of debris removal. Like out of that debris removal on the 751, so we almost have 2,000 that we cost. I mean, we had 800 and 150, so we have $1,200 yesterday. So that 38% is not accurate.
Okay.
It went up. If any indication, if 18 lawns in a month is any indication, I'm gonna need more than that. So I would say.
Is that where that comes out of, the abatements on cutting grass?
Yes, sir.
It's kind of like a wash because like we get it, and
Yeah.
most of the time we get it back during the tax year.
Okay,
So that one, it kind of varies anyway from
Okay.
year to year. We don't really ever know.
Yeah.
Because some years people may actually cut their grass and other years they'd be like, no, just let the city. do
Yeah.
it."
And it's raining so
Yeah.
much this year, it's just, I
Yeah.
mean, they're out of control
Yeah.
and I tell you what I do is I look, not just if you got bahia that's tall, because bahia
Yeah.
can shoot up in 4 days, but if you got weeds and stuff that you're clearly not looking after, that's when I'm marking.
the house across, not directly across, but a little bit this way, right behind J and L Saw Shop, across from South Alabama Gas over here on,
That's one of the ones you got yesterday.
okay. I was just curious who owned that, because it was for sale at one time.
The saying he owns 3 and none of them are being cut this
Is
year.
this,
Papa,
does he live over behind Piggly Wiggly?
his name is Andrea Papa.
Okay.
I think
Yeah,
so.
okay,
Think
I
so.
know. He used to ride a bicycle around, worked at Vanity Fair or something like that one time. something.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think
okay.
it's him.
He liked to, yeah, okay.
So I'm asking for 2,600. And then the only other thing is, Mary, passed on to me being the secretary of the tree board. And on supplemental pay, I'd like to be compensated $50 a month for the tree board stuff. That includes me writing grants, going out and looking at the sites when they give a site plan for the trees that are there and stuff like that. So it's not, it is almost as complicated as the other supplemental pays, but that would give me time to do it after work and lunch hours and stuff like that. And that's gonna vary, like if we're ordering trees and stuff like that, that gives me time, that compensates me for the time of research and all that stuff and getting a package together. So that would be a $600 increase.
Got a line item for that
On that,
one.
I'd have added to his salary.
That's
Because
way,
he already gets he gets one supplemental pay already, so this would be the second one.
the first supplemental is
Uh,
planning and zoning board of adjustment.
Yeah,
How much is that?
4,200.
4,200.
Back, next page back, Larry.
You're saying $50 a month, correct?
Yep.
Is Mary getting anything for that or not?
She's never-
No, she didn't run the grant for it either.
I just have to say, not picking on you, I have to ask the question.
So the,
Do you have any requests from the tree board of how much they want this year?
Is that in this budget?
It will be in the general and capital improvements.
I haven't heard back from them yet.
Okay.
Should that not come out of their budget?
That depends, you'll have to, whatever y'all want to do.
Money one way or the other, unfortunately. So
So like on the trees we put in the dog park. I
Which one of them did?
They blew out, yep. Those were 2,000 and I got that back in a grant.
We put the bags around it to keep the dogs from destroying them.
Those are water bags.
What bag? Oh, that what they are? Okay.
Michael. Okay, that's me.
Yeah, I think we got the professional services, we're looking for an increase there. Partner supplies, the same, building maintenance supplies, remain the same. Telephone, 623, that remains the same. Unit maintenance went down from 5 to 400. Training has 535 to 850. Travel increase from 600 to 1,000. Dues and subscription, 165, which is an increase. And the biggest was professional services down here, which is $24. The tree removal, increase to 600, so that's 26,000. And we just got to figure out where the tree removal goes, if it's under the budget. Right. I got 21,000 based on the full bit. Yeah.
Like I said, I'm supposed to go this afternoon with the other guy. but-
Anybody got any questions?
Just like always in the past, and we go turn around when we don't have enough money, we'll go back and cut some from everybody.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ken. This is already 3:30.
Police. Police. Oh,
Before the chief even comes in, I go over there and sit down with it. And I asked him to put some things on budget. Hello, chief, how you doing?
Good, huh?
good to see you.
You too.
Missed you yesterday.
Appreciate you coming in, chief. Look very professional.
Thank you, sir.
And, this is just the image that we want to get all our city departments with. And with that being said, I was just telling them that I don't know and sit down and discuss with you some things about department budget. And this is what I told the chief, I told them we'll ask for it in the budget, we may have to go back and find alternative sources to this. But at least we'll have some numbers that we can put together. And see where we will go. And that's back toward the front part of the book.
You give them the one, 1625. No, I thought it was changing, so I didn't. Okay, that's fine. We can just go one by one. Okay, done. Is that a right amount? I meant to ask you too. For the police, that's everybody, yeah, is that the correct vacant? Okay, I was just making sure I counted right. So those are all the vacant positions we have. Yep. They are.
And how many of those are you filling out right now, those vacant spots? All 6 of them right now.
We're making it work.
And that's what we're going to do since, the new wages kicked in along with this thing. We gotta go through and do some marketing, to get the word out. For folks, and thinking about having some flyers made up to help promote it, taking it to different places. I think we're competitive with our salary adjustments and the incentives now. So
We've had a guy from Indiana, he's in the packet,
waiting to hear back to see if he can do a transfer into the little research for Alabama law, but I don't know if we can. I'm not sure financially if we can afford him. But he has applied.
Okay,
So building and maintenance
yeah,
supplies.
building and maintenance supply.
I kept that one the same at 7,000.
That's- That's where your air conditioning came out of?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
The telephone went back at 25, and that's because we have the MiFi, the internet, and all that, the routers and all for the body cameras still. Utilities, I didn't put that one up. Assuming we'll stay at 20 on that one. Departmental supplies, I stayed at 5,900. Equipment and tools, I went back with 40, so we could upgrade the tasers and some of our cameras.
Would you,
The equipment tools.
Okay.
65.
Upgrade tasers and
Some of the body cameras.
bike.
6530. I stayed at 8,000. We've got to start phasing out our in-car radios. The 50-watt radios are starting to get to where they don't have any service outside of the city limits. So the new radios are actually 2,600 a piece. We're going to try to get 2 out of my equipment tools this year. I'm actually going to ask you guys for 2 in capital improvement. And then we'll pick up some more. Hopefully there can be some grants and stuff we can use as well. So fuel and oil, I went back with 60 on that one. Wasn't sure if y'all thought the gas and all was gonna go up or not. Vehicle maintenance, I stayed at 25 on that one because the cars we spent a good bit of money this year on trying to get the cars situated. They're having a lot of front end damage on them. Jag grant, I don't know if you want me to put that on there or not, Mr. Charles. It's coming out this year.
Come in.
The 24,000, we used it. Now, like we've already,
Now,
we're just waiting for, I think he got you the reimbursement stuff, or just waiting
We've gotten one invoice. I'm waiting on the other invoice.
for the
other.
the lock, right?
okay, so once
That
we
was-
get that in, that frees up money for next year.
If they're gonna apply for another Jack grant.
Okay.
We don't necessarily put those in the budget because you're not sure if you're gonna get those and how much. But we have to expense it out from her account,
Right.
but we get the reimbursement from back into general fund, so it washes itself out. If that makes sense. It's more accounting purposes.
More accounting purposes,
Yeah.
than budgeting purposes.
Right.
So now, if she gets the grant, we don't have to have the budget
Correct.
to spend it as separate.
Right. I just have to code it as her 6025 as an expense,
Okay.
but it comes in as a 4,000, which is our revenue account. But we just don't budget because that's something that you're not
You don't
guaranteed.
know if we get it
Yeah.
or not. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
6,700, I went back at 5,000. 6740, 10,000 again for training.
I think that's enough.
Yes, sir. We've got this thing called Virtual Academy that we can do. I'm assuming we'll still be able to do it. Most of all the training can come from there, but some of the specialized training, we just pay for it. We're good on that. Travel, went back at 5,000. Uniforms went back at 12,000.
Now, training and travel, want to remind you if you have any new officers that you have to send to school.
Oh, yeah, I haven't thought about that.
That's what training and travel is for. And if you want to hire 4 new officers that have to go to they have to go to cadet school, that costs.
Well,
They reimburse like $1,500, I think, is all they reimburse us back to.
yeah, I understand. We don't know exactly how many we would hire that would be certified.
Right,
So if the more we hire certified, we don't have to do the training.
correct.
But the ones that we hire, I would be on the safe side and I would just put them in and say we all had some training. And then if we didn't have to use it, you know.
So, like, I don't even, I'd have to go pull, I wouldn't even have a clue how much the school was, because sometimes you can get into Selma, which gives you the free, and then some, we have to pay for hotels, and that's when it really racks up with travel, because hotels, sometimes we can get good rates, and sometimes you're spending $200 a night.
Can I try to divide that, figure that out and get back with you guys on that? Because if it's Montgomery, it's crazy expensive because you have to pay for food and hotels.
Yeah, food and
As
hotels.
long as we can get them in Selma, it's like $2,000-$2,500.
I can get with you tomorrow. on
I
all
would
those.
say, I would look at, the possibility of having to get 4 post certified and you try and get the other 2 certified. And if we can cut into that 4 with certified people, then that will reduce our cost even more.
Where are we at? The business subscriptions, that one's negative because we added body cameras for everybody that's a certified officer there. So our monthly subscriptions went up for the body cameras and the router and stuff outside. That's why that went up. So I asked for 75,000 this year in that one.
And that was partly that's the Axon.
Right.
That's where the
Axon,
Axon comes
yeah.
out. And that's where we were having to catch up on so many things that were not being paid.
Right. 6860. I asked for 4,500. And that was because when we do the body transports for autopsies, the lab in Mobile no longer accepts them overnight. So Ms. Carroll is having to work with Monroe Chapel, and they charge us to keep a body overnight if we have a murder or an autopsy is requested by the DA's office. That's why that one's negative. We have never had to pay for overnight before. Public relations.
How bad is overnight expense?
It was a lot. I forgot the last bill, but it was.
The lab used to keep them until they could do an autopsy, but now you can only take them the day of the autopsy.
Might be cheaper to buy a motel room.
Okay.
Put the air, turn the air conditioning on, put them in there,
I don't know who's gonna stay with them.
That's my point.
I'm not allowed to.
huh?
We just draw straws to see who
What you
stays.
gotta think about is all bodies you take are not pristine.
Mm.
That's for sure.
Yeah, some of them you take in there one.
Yeah.
Most of them probably aren't.
You
Um,
got one you done found out there 3 or 4 days in the heat. You
Yeah.
don't want to be in a hotel room.
Oh, God.
Public relations, I went back with 1,000. We do a lot of stuff with the schools with that money. And then the petty cash is 1,000 again. So Joe want to go over the animal control?
Yeah,
Is anything that Sam is doing, is that gonna cut down on any of your expenses? I was just,
It probably costs more.
In my little success thing, I had written out that we had partnered up with a state agency to where we do all of our NCIC stuff and all would save the city some money. And then the training, Brian and Eric were all trained on installation of the in-car cameras, and they can work on the cars, all the electric stuff in the cars. And to have them trained, it was $2,500, whereas each car is $1,100 a vehicle, so we save money there too.
you have the new ones yet?
Be here tomorrow. They deliver them tomorrow,
5 or 4?
5.
One's already been delivered.
Yeah, we've got one over there. We don't have the lights for it yet, but we have it.
I will make mention of another success story the chief didn't talk about, but they did really good work on the situation that happened down at the park when they threw armed robbery. They got them in real quick. It led to some search warrants being conducted in an area that we were having problems down on Lamar. And I ain't gonna say they're cured forever, but it's pretty quiet down there. Yeah, not to mention some of the other things that they've done in conducting the traffic when we were doing all of the COVID. You know, that could have been a nightmare. but, they handle it very professionally. And, the big thing is how you measure success in a situation like that. You have no accident and nobody got hurt. So,
Thank you. Animal control. That was 64.50 for her. We went back, I went 350 for her phone. Utilities, the Department of Supplies, 200. 65.20, 700.
How much?
700.
For equipment and tools.
Yeah, she just bought a bunch of stuff that she only has to buy every 2 years or so. 65.40, 2,000. 65.50 vehicle maintenance. I went up to 2,000 and we're working on trying to figure out something for her vehicle without having to buy a brand new one. 6,700, $100. 67.40, $1,000. 67.50, $500. And 67.70, $200. And I wasn't sure about the public health. I didn't know how much the city was gonna.
That's the animal shelter appropriation. We've been given 40,000 in the past. And that's above our, what's required actually.
That is still the Monroe County Animal Shelter.
Sure is.
It burns me up.
Y'all going back with the 40 for that? Or-
What's that?
I know what you said before. How much does the county give? You remember?
That's about that.
I think last year they were able to, the animal shelter, they were talking to the 40,000 because we get 40.
Yeah.
But they said if we gave more, they wouldn't. raise
No.
it.
And whoever went for them off
I
the
know
board
somebody that did.
didn't request any more
I
money.
don't know.
And I'm not gonna say names, but I'm pretty sure I know who was representing them, came in, did not ask for any
I
more.
didn't know.
See her little buddy?
Saw that.
Which they're gonna, I sent them a letter and they'll be here Friday.
You know, I was talking to the chief on animal control and the truck she got in 2011. I feel that if we went to the Aldott auction, that we could get a truck comparable. All she has to do is slide her equipment into it, and you save a lot of money on doing it that way. And it won't have, it may have, at the most, it may have 60,000 miles on it. That's how Aldott.
How much this one got on?
156.
What?
156.
Wow.
Patty had it when she got it new, and Patty's been gone
Yeah.
6-7 years now.
So I'm thinking if we go that route, we can get a real good truck. And they'll cut down on the maintenance and probably get better fuel mileage and, have what you need. So the chief, she made a note, we met a little early, she didn't check on that auction.
So we're gonna do 40,000 on the animal shelter.
Yeah.
Capital improvement and stuff.
Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about. Is there anywhere on there for capital improvement?
It's a sheet in the back and it'll say capital improvements. The sheet that looks like this, it's more toward the back.
What it looks like. There it is right there.
It really wasn't this bad, so Mr. Charles came and talked to me and gave me a little bit of hope earlier that I put the invoices with just about everything except for the laptop. We're still waiting on that one.
Yeah, I asked the chief to go through and look at doing some things. I will, look at putting it up for possibility of looking at doing some of it, but at the same time, since we do have prostates in, we might get some grant funding for us to do some of this stuff. And we will actually take it out of capital improvement, and hopefully next week I get a chance to sit down with him and Amanda, and we start talking about how to spend the recovery package money. That was verified today that I got an email from him that he got an email back that the check is cleared. So we got the money in the bank. But anyway, I asked the chief, I felt like it needs to be in budget somewhere. It may not, we may not even approve it, but at least we got some idea of some of the things that we take. So let's see. She was going through and she was asking for what this is for, new vehicles, that's the police package, and then one that's was a special service.
Yes, sir.
And one special service. And then she had costs in here for it would take to mount all of the equipment on it. And I don't know, I looked at the plan that Councilman Bruton had did on equipment replacement. And I looked at how many that she had down here. And for this amount, if we did a 3-year lease purchase, we might could replace everything on there. And at the end of the year, you pay $1 and it's yours. That might be something for us to explore.
You talking about for these 5?
Right. Like, well, see, like this 5, what you paying for 5, you might could do 5, 10, 15, and pay this same amount.
But the only problem you get into that is you have them all come old at the same time. By getting 5 every year like we're doing, you're having a rotation coming out of having new vehicles and not having them all die. That's what we did one time before, get all of those vehicles and they all died on us one time.
Because we're right after, well, when we started last term, we bought what, 10?
Yeah.
So
The first
now
time.
we got 10.
See,
Problem.
that's not a good rotation. I understand the money wise of it, but
See, at the same time, what you get into this is that you could actually go back, because at the end of that time, you pay $1 for them. Okay, then if you go back out and you actually go back and you pull that vehicle off of it before it gets like 150,000 miles on it, if you put it up for auction, you're gonna get a lot more money for it. And I guess what we would have to establish would be like a vehicle replacement fund. And that money goes into that vehicle replacement fund and you apply it toward the next one. But, that's something, I'm not saying do it this year, but something that we can look at in the future, how to get to it. I did it, had to do it before. I got 175 fully equipped patrol cars. And at the end of 3 years, I paid $1, and all of them did not reach the mileage limit at one time. And I think that's the same thing you see here. They all would not reach the mileage limit at one time, so that would help you stagger it. But that's something we'll go through and we'll talk about in the future. But when I looked at how much money you're paying here for 5, if you took this amount and you multiply it by 3, you're getting 15.
I mean, it's gonna wind up seriously being money about the same way either way. They're not gonna lose on their end.
Oh, no, they won't. No. But, that's just something we'll go through and we'll discuss right now. But right now, this is what we requesting and council approve. The outfit 5 vehicles. We've got 2 radios in here. There's, something else on here that she asked for in capital improvement. I had a chance to go through and look at it. This Apex training simulator. What that is a simulator to train officers on, shoot, don't shoot situations and responding to all of the different types of calls. One of the advantages of this and talking with the chief, that if we're getting it for a big discount if we pursue this. At the same time, they could offer training to some of the smaller departments that don't have this and actually charge for them to utilize the equipment. And like I say, I'm not exactly sure, this may be something that we can go through and actually find grant money for. But I was gonna make mention of it in the budget, just in case. So that would be, 62.5. The other thing that I'm going through and talking about was, looking at getting cameras in. And when I talk with Mr. Scott, I'm going to go through and discuss that, with him. We went and visited Chickasaw, and they got 25 cameras up and operational right now. And it cost them, I think it was like at 64,000 for 25. And it's the same Bacardi system that we were going through and taking a look at. That at the locations we were talking about putting some of the things y'all had happened, y'all could have identified the vehicle during that time frame and went back and looked at it. And if they got a facial shot, you can actually do facial recognition. The big thing about this is that if you put that face in there of a person, if he passes in front of any of those cameras, it will send a notice to the police department where he is. So, it would be a big step for us. And I'm gonna talk to him about, because he said that he could pursue other grants. I'm gonna talk to him about that, but, we may not approve it, but, we'll put it in there anyway to see how things balance out.
That one just got the camera system.
You did, Bacardi,
I'm not sure if it's the one, but they just got 20.
just got 20.
Who did?
That one.
Mhm. But then, in some of our real problem areas, one of the things you can do, you can actually go into like an apartment complex, and the people can give you permission, and you can mount the camera on their building, and they supply the electricity, internet connection. And now instead of walking in and people saying, well, I didn't see anything, I don't know, it don't matter because we got it.
What's the survival rates of these cameras?
Supposedly they have a really good warranty.
Yeah, it's like a 10-year
Yeah.
warranty.
That's the same.
No, I'm talking about, that wouldn't be covered under warranty, somebody shooting one up.
Well, supposedly if they tamper with them or something like that gets that close, it automatically takes a picture and sends it to us. Like you're alerted if it's tampered with. And I asked that question, if it's shot, he told us if there's a bullet hole in it, that they could possibly warranty it. That's rarely happened. I don't think they've ever had that happen. But I think the cameras would be a great asset for us.
I can understand the value of them, but you one time before we talked about lights, about putting lights in the area, they got tore down as quick as they got put up.
I told him, I voiced it.
Well, like I say, I'm going to go through and schedule a meeting with him so he can get more specific on the pricing. And I'll get him to bring information on warranty and all that information. So
Papering this out today.
Yeah.
You start turned on a monster here now.
well, if we don't ask,
This
it
is
may not be done. But
just a kind of a copy of last year's where we bought the 10 bulletproof vests out of ABC. We just wanted to buy 10 more to get everybody up to where they need to be. And then we were asking, this is the vest the carrier, and then the 10 razor ballistic armor is something you put in front of it's a new panel they came out with. And that actually makes your level 2 vest a level 3 vest for $2,000 more. We can get 10 of those. And then we asked for 5 tasers also. We don't have the invoice from Taser yet. It's supposed to pay in the day, but I actually thought my meeting was tomorrow, so it's kind of my fault.
Okay, that's ABC, okay. You got that, okay, Chief, there anything else?
If we covered, we covered it.
Okay.
Next, Billy Lane.
Blue line, yep.
The numbers.
He's 60/50.
Oh, Chief,
Yeah.
great, doing good.
Look distinguished today.
Thank you.
Yeah, if you can leave one for Al and Anthony. Oh, and then one for Miss Selma too.
Okay, we got all your personnel and everything on budget worksheet.
I have the budget worksheet in that packet they gave me to, and I've transferred those numbers over. I think we did, so.
Chief, thank you for coming in. As Councilman Foster said, it was very professional. And I don't know if you would, just kind of tell us about your success stories, man. You got one or two I know of.
The one that I actually wrote about is, when I became the chief in December 2008. One of the goals that I had was for the department to succeed in lowering its ISO rating. At that time, we were a class 4, actually a high class 4. We had just recently moved out from a 5. And since that time, we have gone through 2 grading processes and have moved down to a low class 3. And with the additional personnel that we've hired, and the ability to get 24, 48, so if we potentially can move down to a class 2, which is a very small percentage in the US that is a class 2 department, it's in particular a combination department of our size. So been proud of that. In addition, that we've been able to update some of our fleet, which y'all have certainly been a part of. Appreciate you doing that, Mr. Mill, spending all that money. But I know that it takes a lot of money to keep the department going. Y'all have always been real supportive of that. Another thing that I've always really strived for since I'm in department is professionalism of the department and the guys. One, when they're representing the department out in public. Two, whenever we're on the scene, to be professional. Because at any time we're somewhere, in most instances, it's somebody's worst day. And so and it's simple things like the guy that smoked can't smoke out in front of somebody. If they want to smoke, they have to go behind the truck. If they're gonna be laughing and cutting up, they have to go so that the families can't see and things like that. And they do really well with that. So I've got a good group of guys. Unfortunately, we're losing a lot of volunteers. But being able to add some of the career guys, that's helping. So.
Yeah, in addition, some of the things that the chief has done is our ambulance services is, that's something that we've been going through and discuss with the council. And he's been able to respond in some really life-threatening situations and save lives. Some of the other things, there's two other things that really come to mind with me. When we went out and we did the COVID testing and everything, your guys were there with us and helping us. And since I've been here, you even have people come out and assist with food banks. And, all that stuff, that's just, they're to be commended for. It's something they didn't have to do. But at the same time, that goes to show to me their love and dedication. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the budget and, like I say, the work is greatly appreciated.
Okay. My budget pretty well stayed the same overall. I did have, obviously, it's gonna be an increase in salaries. But on my utilities that I do every year, we're gonna be really close this year. So I figured in a 5% increase on utilities. So that went up. It looked like went up like $8,000, almost $8,000. Hopefully that won't be the case, but we're I think the paperwork Amanda sent me, we're based on about 2,300 a month on our utilities. And for the remaining year, we're gonna be really close. And if the power company or whatever doesn't do an increase, would be okay, but if they don't, if they do, then I gotta figure it in.
And I'm questioning that is a large number. A justification, I'm quite sure in it, but why is it that high? You're operating what, 3 stations, power?
Training complex, and that's including our gas usage.
Okay.
Natural gas, power bill, telephone's not in that, but with
Water, too.
the 3 stations in natural gas, this year we had a relatively cold winter. So our natural gas usage was more than normal. And then of course in the summer, the air conditioning and stuff like that. That's I don't think we're gonna go over budget, but we're gonna be really close at the end of this year. The next one, departmental supply, that's I added $500 in that. Due to we're gonna have some additional personnel there, and if we do the 2448, there will be more usage of stuff. Left my equipment tools the same. Equipment repairs, left that the same. Fuel and oil, Michael seems to think that we're gonna be okay on our fuel and oil from this past year. Currently, right now, we've used just a little over half. So if fuel doesn't go up, we should still be good on that. Vehicle maintenance, I left it 11,000, even though we were over this year a good bit, but it's like I told y'all right after budget last year, we had that unexpected breakdown on the truck, and the repair itself was over what I had budgeted. So with our other equipment repair, we're still managing to not have to amend anything. Our employee welfare still at 1,000. That's what we buy water, Gatorade, stuff like that out of for the fires. Our training, I did increase that this year. You can see I went over, and that reasoning is because of Brandon is going to have to go to recruit school, and the recruit school is going to cost us about $3,000. Almost 1,200 of that will come out of training, And then the remaining 1,800, which I increased on my travel, will come out of travel due to his lodging. And that's what happened on our training this past year, is we wasn't aware that when he went to school, when Jonathan went to school in July, or when we submitted it in July, when he graduated, it was after October 1st, and then they billed us out of this fiscal year, and we had the money in last year's fiscal year. So it messed up the budget this year on that. So the guy going this year is going in September. He won't graduate until November, so I know they won't bill us until November. Uniforms, I did a $500 increase on uniform just because we have two new people, and we've been operating with the 3,000 for all the other guys. And that was it on all of those.
Big increase.
With the guy going on active duty, is that gonna mess you up as far as doing the 24/7?
We'll be down one person per shift when we start the rotation. It'll only be two. We're gonna do a 3-person shift rotation, and we'll be down to just 2 on one shift when that happens. But his active duty orders were from right at the end of May through Christmas Day, and he said that probably would be at the longest point that he should be back before then. But that's what we're planning right now, is December before he's back, or January. Because once they get back, he's got to go into the 14-day quarantine because of being out of the country. You don't want to talk about the capital and stuff.
Yeah.
All right, on the capital, I got another quote because I thought the quote that we got for an iPhone doing the roof at $40-something thousand was excess. Had another company come in and they gave us a quote, and theirs came in at $62,000. And that is to put basically a membrane roof on it. And I got his quote in here, but it does have a 20-year warranty on all parts and labor from leaks and all that stuff. So I just put that in there as a budget price because we're going to do something to the roof. Hopefully it'll be much less than that, but that's, and the stuff Tim was going to put on there, it never has been applied, so we don't know if it's going to work or not.
Are we in the capital improvement?
69.26.
I know we got I don't guess we still have the ladder truck payment. We paid for the new engine outright. So, there's still a couple of.
Yeah, the fire truck, I guess the big engine would be 5/20/23. So a couple more years on it.
Also, and I had mentioned this to the mayor, I'm not sure I mentioned, with the activity of the EMS unit, the ambulance has gotten quite a bit more frequent. The current ambulance that we have is a 2003 model, and it's approaching 200,000 miles on it. It's got small mechanical issues. We just have to work on the air conditioner stuff. And if we're going to be operating it at a higher capacity than what we have, we need to look at replacing that. And was in hopes that we possibly could use some of that CARES Act recovery funding to assist with that. And if we do that, one of the goals that we had early on was to combine an EMS transport unit and a rescue truck instead of having 3 rescue units. And if we do that, that's what we'll do, is take our small rescue truck, which is a 2007 model, and put the tools on the ambulance and cover both the EMS and extrication with it. And then it's also up for replacement this year is our big rescue truck, but it's funded by United Way, which we've submitted for our funding again for it, which is $15,000 a year. what we normally do. And that, of course, the city will have to handle it, but, borrow the money and then the rescue account, which Amanda and them has the checkbook for, pays the payments on it. And then when it's paid off, it's the city's truck.
Are we able to charge for an ambulance service that we provide? And are we able, and do we collect?
We are able, we do not charge. The mayor and I discussed this in a meeting with some of the ASAP folks the other day. There are some third-party organizations out there that will handle the billing for us if we want to go that route. I don't think it's cost feasible to hire somebody to do it. And the mayor is going to, I guess, discuss with the owners of that company, but their manager seems to think that they could handle the billing for us and we could get some reimbursement. But you know, that's it. When we were doing it once every 4 months, it wasn't an issue.
No, but if we're gonna buy an ambulance,
Right.
you know, that was a donated ambulance, and if we're gonna buy an ambulance, then, and we get more frequent, and we become the source of doing that, then we should have no choice.
The main thing is, we have done our best to limit it to just calls inside the city. So we had one or two, they were life threatening, and, ASAP response time was definitely unreasonable. When the chief called me, and because of the situation, I told him to go ahead. I hate somebody to die because there was no response, but I don't want to become the ambulance service.
No, we don't need to become an ambulance service at all.
No.
And it will very easily happen.
I noticed on your report yesterday, there was a whole bunch of, was it like 15 life flight landings?
And a large majority of those is because the ambulance, there's no ambulance to carry the patients.
That was my question.
And unfortunately, in this meeting the other day we had with ASAP, I asked the question, what is your requirements to Monroe County under state guidelines? And it's one ambulance, one paramedic. So he's meeting their requirements. Now, if the county and the city and I want to work with them and set up some type of contract that says you got to have this number of paramedics, this number of ambulance and all that type of stuff, it's, something that can be done or yet to be seen. But as it stands right now, they're meeting their requirements. Yesterday, we answered a call because there were 45 minutes. And it was right here at the courthouse. And so we went and transported the patient. And to answer your question about the billing, yes, we can go through. I mean, I'm sure the third party organization that does that, a billing company, is probably not that expensive. But a lot of what you pick up don't have insurance.
Yes. And that's unfortunately why they're spread out, because I listen to Scanner and they go to people that my stomach hurts and they have to go to Vredenburg or URI or whatever else. I mean, as far outreaches of the county, not that those locations mean anything more than Monroeville, but the hospital's right here. But they've got a long distance and tied up for an hour plus going there for an ailment that should be in some way transport them in their car.
Right.
In my opinion.
Yeah, and it is abused. There's no doubt about that. And we're going to send some people to school as advanced EMT basic, and hopefully maybe in the future paramedic. But Ms. Kaylette has agreed to host a class at Alabama Southern so we can send them locally. And that's going to cost us, a good bit out of training, but that will give us a little more advantage on treating patients. Right now, we're just a basic unit, being an advanced basic, you can do a few more things to for them. But I mean, that's kind of where we're at right now. All across the nation, fire departments are turning into ambulance services because one, you're paying people to sit there already. And because of most of your paramedics in the nation now are in the fire service. They're paramedics. It's hard. There's just a paramedic shortage. I know Daphne, for example, had an issue with some response time.
Yeah. They've been in the news.
And the solution to that was, temporarily anyway, is the ambulance service at MidStar, I think it was, stations an ambulance at their fire station. And it has a driver or a basic. And if they have a call within the city, a paramedic comes out, gets on the truck, they answer the call, and then they reimburse the city for the cost of the paramedic. And that's how they've eliminated their shortages right now. Now, the section below that, in addition to the $164,000 for the ambulance, is $11,888. That's for a stretcher and stair chair that goes in the ambulance. And we've got to buy that regardless if we get a new ambulance or not. Our stretcher is like obsolete. We can't get it recertified and stuff like that. And they're outrageous on this new stuff. And this is the basic model. They offer electric stuff, and we're going with strictly basic stuff.
Would there be any value as far as selling the one you have?
There may be somebody out there that wants it. I just, like I said, it's got 200,000 miles on it. The air conditioning is messing up in it. Now, we had a state inspection today. It passed state inspection, but I'm just afraid that if the more and more we use it, I don't want it to break down, with a patient on board and there's no other ambulance and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But, I'm sure somebody, well, it's got that 7.3 liter diesel engine in it. It may be of value to somebody just for the engine or chassis.
So we had the truck that the city had. They use it as a mobile command.
Mhm.
And I think it was older.
Yeah, I think it was was it a 97?
I think so, or something like that, but we put it up for auction, the only people we got, I think they did like $600 on it, and we picked it back. So, that's what happens when you keep stuff so long, and you try to resell it, you don't get anything.
I'm just thinking about maybe some of the other outlying fire departments or something.
So I guess we just have to look at what the value would be. Now, there is a process, if I'm not mistaken, it used to be that you could go through a decade and sell that stuff to another city government.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
Another issue with a new ambulance is there isn't hardly any because of the computer chip issues and all. The chassis, there's like very few of them that's rolling off, and that's why we had a hard time getting the price on these, just because there's a line of them sitting somewhere and they said they don't have mirrors on them and they can't put them in service. And just until the production process gets back going and stuff gets in stock. So even if we said we wanted to buy it today, I don't know when we would get it.
Is the 164.7, is that equipped or just?
It's just a truck.
Just a truck.
We have everything on this truck that would change over except for, like I said, we've got to upgrade that stretcher and stair chair before we drop somebody or something. And that stuff is supposed to be tested annually. And this one hasn't been tested going on 2 years now because it's just obsolete.
When you say that's just the truck, so you have to take
No, it'll be a complete ambulance. It just won't, it won't have equipment in it.
okay, all right. I was thinking that it was truck and chassis, you're gonna have to take the truck off.
No, it'll be a complete package. You just won't have the equipment we had to put in it out of this one.
And you just transfer the equipment that's in that one on this one, and they'll get there.
And the thing with this one too is I've requested them to quote an F-series chassis so that in the event we did get into a lot of the service or had to remount the box or whatever, it's a truck chassis that you can remount to instead of the one that we have now. It's what they call the E-series, which is basically a van that's been cut off and retrofitted. And so it would be a regular F-series style chassis or Dodge or whatever, it would be, but basically a 1-ton truck with a ambulance body.
In the same kind of subject also, y'all responding to a large number of fires that are greatly outside the range of Monroeville. That's another thing that's a sore subject also. I mean, I understand what we're trying to do, but when we start going to same thing, Uri and Beatrice, and you've had calls of those lately that's happened. So.
We have mutual aid agreements with all the departments in the county. Like when we had the outlet center fire, a bunch of them came to help us when we had the Temple fire. But you know, they utilize us more than we do them. But what you're running into is during the day. I mean, I heard it a while ago, they paged department like 3 times, and finally got one person to respond to a wreck, overturned vehicle. And the department or the 911 protocol is to call the department. And if they don't respond, call the next nearest department. But what's happening on a lot of these is, I'll use Excel, for example. Excel has 2 or 3 people or 1 or 2 people. And they'll also go ahead and get Monroeville on route because they know that we have a crew that can go. We went to a fire the other day on Monroe Station Road, and that one made sense. They called Bermuda. Bermuda asked for to get the next nearest department. You know, we were there and basically had to fire up before Bermuda ever got there.
Yeah. I had an example of, I witnessed the one you had in Uri, I was coming through when y'all were coming in at, but you had Rocky Hill and Uri, both opportunity to be there, and we wound up sending.
Yeah, and I was not in town when that happened. We probably should have never been called for that because you had Goodway, Frisco City, you know, some of those that we had to pass through.
Yeah.
But there again, they relied on where they knew some help would come from.
Yeah, and that's.
I understand what you're saying, and we got full-time folks. It may get worse.
Yeah, I'm saying.
But, you think about most of these communities, you hope they spend their money in town, especially
I mean, that
at
can,
Walmart. So we,
that can be,
I do, but,
But the biggest thing is we're out there, then we have a problem here.
Well, and
that's the more concern. I agree with you, what you just said.
In our agreement too is we'll send them an engine company. We're not sending all of our folks and all of our trucks. And I've told our own shift guys that if we get a call, right now we're running 4 per shift, 2 can go, 2 needs to stay, and we can send volunteers with them, that we can't empty Monroeville.
I understand. I understand what you're saying.
We're going, unfortunately, as time goes on, it's going to be expected us to be everybody's everything. Because right now we got a little money that we can do it.
ISO, Kyle Bob, which is our ISO rep that comes down, and he told me, he said eventually, and I don't see it happening, he said eventually there'll be a county fire department and they basically fall up under our umbrella and we'll cover everybody. And I said, well, we don't want that. He said, that's coming. He said, it's happening all across the country.
But if it's a county fire department, then the county got funded, right?
They got to put some money in this and have some skin in the game.
Yeah.
But will we still be able to keep the city fire department?
Yeah.
And they wouldn't not fall under the umbrella of the county.
Right.
Okay.
We receive money from the county because of the volunteer portion. And every fire department in the county receives the same funding. And we get $30,000 a year.
Yeah,
From
that
the county.
was, we voted on that several years ago.
And so we get 30,000, Beatrice gets 30,000, Bermuda gets 30,000, everybody gets the same allotted amount. Some of these departments, that's what they make the truck payments with, or their fire station payments and stuff like that. So we put it in our special account, take care of our training complex with it.
Do you think there's a possibility with that money, the CARES money or whatever it's called, we could do with ambulance? I mean,
I'm going to set up the first of next week. I'm meeting with myself, Amanda, and William Scott to look at a proposed spending plan. And then once we get the rough kind of out, he wants to come in and, you know, meet with us and the council and possibly the department heads to talk about it. And what I see is that there may be some things that we would be allowed that we're paying for with general fund money that we can use the rescue plan money to pay for. And then that frees up money in the general fund. You know, that's, I'm not an expert on the guidelines, but I feel pretty comfortable that that's one of the things. That we do.
Well, and I'm not, I like I say, I hadn't read a whole bunch of it. But I just wonder, like this, the building that we sold, if you tag that as we sold it at a loss because of economic reasons, cause I just wondered if there's any way any of that debt can be paid down, some of that money also. I don't, like I said, I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's something to think about.
But and like I say, those are the type issues that we can bring up and,
Right.
And let him put in, he calls it a needs assessment. And we do the needs assessment and we come back and then we can, plan on how to spend on something. Yeah. You know, like I say, they're the experts at doing it, so I expect a good product.
The last thing I had on there was our ABC request same request we do every year. It's 17,500. We use 15,000 for the replace bunker gear. We're on our 5-year rotation, so everybody's gear doesn't, or when it reaches expiration date. And the remainder was for the banquet that we do every year. But Mary said it couldn't come out of the general fund.
17.5 again.
Yes, sir.
What's on the menu for the bank? Not
Well,
chicken.
We usually do steak and shrimp, surf and turf.
This is the deal. If you boil shrimp, they set the whole thing down in front of me. I do somebody something yesterday. I know that.
And have them peeled.
We do it at the country club. So we used to have a fellow we paid to do it for us, and I think we're doing it. And we didn't do the banquet this past year due to the COVID stuff, so. And our plans are too, of course, we don't spend any city money doing it, but we're planning to do the Mardi Gras ball again this year, as long as we keep the COVID numbers down and under control.
Have they got the account and everything set up for that?
We turned the paperwork into the bank and everything today, so we should have the account established. We haven't gone and signed anything yet, but they have all the paperwork.
Okay. That's pretty much covered.
It was on our rescue account, which I mentioned earlier, you know, we request $15,000 every year from United Way, and we generally are awarded that. So I wouldn't see any difference there this year that goes into our rescue fund.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Michael, I guess Michael's next. Go ahead and bring our
Hey,
supper.
you need to call the police back in and we bring Michael in here.
Seriously?
You try to rob us.
Oh, that's the reputation he has. He does deserve it though, doesn't he?
His reputation has preceded him.
No, Mayor did get to you, son.
John, Mike.
Y'all always say the best for last. don't you?
Here, stand over. I'm gonna take a picture. I want to save this.
Verification.
Then he actually can clean up. Hey, now wait a minute. I saw him that way one time when he got a daughter married.
I'll get it printed out and put it in a watermelon patch.
What's the number on this?
Oh, 60/30 and 60/35.
Towards the front. I found out pretty easy.
It'll say public works admin and then.
Somebody call, want to know where you was preaching tonight.
Hey, you got somebody's attention, you.
Well, see, this is why I had to assure them. I wouldn't ask them to do anything I wouldn't.
Okay.
So I've been in business suit the last 2 days. And probably the next week. But
That's something I've done on that, we talked about that. in the-
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But I got all that other than that. too.
Yeah, I saw that.
Street
too,
and
but
all.
I'm not sure what.
It's a little, I think it's 240 million. But
I
with
think
that,
his may be
with that
off a little bit,
project
'cause
there,
I did this
you know,
brain and brain.
you could do all of that in 5 years,
Right,
but it
And
would
then
take
you go
like
to the
550,000
go up.
maybe.
right.
And that's
Right,
what-
right now, if you've done every bit of it right now, it'd be like
But he said
2.5
his
million.
numbers were correct, but yeah.
But over a 5 period of time, 5 year period,
could be there
you could do it
24
all, but
hours,
you'd be looking
Yeah,
at over
they're different.
$500,000 a year.
And then they get the 6 hours of overtime.
You know, if you don't have no, culverts blow out on major roads, then you could probably do that.
Well, when we're talking about that, what I kind of wanted to do that, rebuild Alabama money we're getting, instead of using it every year like we've been doing, and we really don't know exactly how much we're gonna get. They'll tell us an estimate, but save that up for a few years and then turn around. That way we can do a big project with it. I think that'd be better because, and then that way we'd know how much money we actually got to work with.
And like I do with ABC money.
Yeah.
Don't spend it till you have it all in the bank.
You know, I think that'd be better because, you know, this year I cut back a little bit on that. It was supposed to be like 46,000, and I tried to stay way under that, you know, with them 2 streets. So we make sure it would work out.
You got 5 minutes.
Oh, that all? Well, we can do it. Y'all just say yes and I can go. Oh,
We're gonna start with yours.
oh, that on admin.
60-14.
Now mine staying pretty much the same except for the raises. You got departmental supplies at 2,000, telephone at 650. You got you.
That's right.
The 60/30 public works admin.
I'm on that.
Yeah.
You on the building maintenance, 2,000, just leave it at that, and then telephone 650. Utilities 9,000. Now, we may overrun just a little bit on that, you know, for this past winter, you know, we had to use a little more natural gas. But I'm hoping it don't overrun, but it might just a little bit. But then departmental supplies, I left it the same, of course. I just bought some stuff this week, but it ain't gonna eat it all up.
Now, on utilities, you said you were gonna leave it at 9,000.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, on, departmental supplies, they're gonna leave it at 4,000.
400.
No, yeah, 400, I'm sorry.
He tried to slip that one in on.
Extra that. But, on equipment and tools, I was gonna drop it down to 1,000. That way I could, there's a couple of items on down, I was gonna raise up just a little bit, but, equipment repair, still at 2,000. I know I hadn't used any of it, but we really hadn't got into the lightning season. If we get a hit on that gas pump, you know, it might take that and more. So,
This is on the repair.
yes, on equipment repair,
You're gonna leave it as 2,000 and drop it down.
leave it at 2. Now, the tools and equipment have dropped down to 1,000.
Okay, I got you.
Now, fuel and all, leave it the same, I ain't anticipating no big increase in fuel prices, but I think we'll be safe even if it gets up around $3 a gallon. Vehicle maintenance, I left it the same. Employee welfare, I left it the same in case I have to get something best, something like it. Training, now I bumped it up to 850, and you notice now I didn't, because of COVID, they canceled all our stuff in Nashville. Now this coming up year, it's gonna be in Carolina. So I bumped it up a little bit because of the motel and all will be a little bit more. And I think the classes may be a little bit more on them. They may have an increase on those. All right, the uniforms I left the same at 250.
What are you gonna do for travel?
Travel.
Travel 1,500 and 850 for training. All right, uniform left it at 250, and on the dues and subscriptions, I put 220. This past year we budgeted 202, and I think it was like 208, yeah. All right. Now on the street department, before we get into those stuff on the salaries on there, I know we was gonna hire a landscaper. That would, you did put the figures in there?
Yeah.
Okay, and also, we got another laborer spot and we hadn't hired nobody. You remember back last November when I asked the council about holding off till the summer to hire the third one? And then, but we hadn't hired them. But I think this landscaper was probably gonna need some help with the stuff that's added to them. So I'd like to go ahead and hire that labor position too, so it, and put him with the landscape.
When you plan on October to hire the land?
Yeah, what I wanted to do is start advertising in August, the 1st of August. And that way we'd have a couple months there to see what we could really find. So that's gonna be kind of a job, I think, trying to find somebody that's really qualified for that.
If we can't find somebody that's qualified, and I'll get with you and go back and look and see if there's possibility where we can hire somebody that don't have all the qualifications, but we can train them. And then once they get all their training and certifications, then look at a promotion. That's one thing I wanted to throw out to you, what y'all thought about.
What's the other option is contracted out at?
Yeah, if we contract it out again, we need to do a little better contract and be a little more specific.
Yeah, I've been fairly disappointed with
Yeah.
been done so far.
But, you know, it needs to be a little tougher contract.
And again, we tried it with that.
But it would, if you got a good landscaping company, I think it would work, you know, but somebody that's all they done with landscape. But now the thing that I'm looking at, if we can find somebody to hire them and have them on payroll, that way, you know, if say they need something done here at City Hall, they can get with him or call me and we can go ahead and get it taken care of.
And like down at the police department, you know, all that needs to be done outside. And so now you got somebody to go in and take care of it. You still got issues down at the community house on the back side with all those bushes and stuff that have grown up, and that's not included in the contract. So that's an additional cost. Things like issues that have with flower beds down there, you know, we went through and with that unbelievable amount of rain. It went through and washed a lot of the
Yeah.
most out. And so, that's gotta go back and be addressed again. And, the suggestion is, right now, until we can, and that's something else we have to talk about later. We probably have to put some kind of gutter system on that thing.
I think just coming across the front there with gutter system and getting that water on around that building and dump it out. And I'm pretty sure that a good architect or engineer can design
Yeah.
a set of gutters that would match that building.
Even the recommendation from the landscaper we got now is to go back and, he says if we put pine straw in it, that will work better with the amount of water that we got coming off of it.
I agree, pine straw burns,
Yeah.
and people smoke out there. That's the only thing you gotta watch
Well,
with that.
That's true. The only bad thing, the amount of water that's coming off in them certain spots whenever it's hitting, we even put rock. You just notice the rocks we put down to try to, make the water splatter out more. Thought that would, break it up some, but it's still. And we have been getting some unusual rain.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
5 inches in 2 hours the other day was impressive.
and that's why we ran into what we did. All right, so on the admin part, you pretty much got in everything here that we were looking
Yeah,
at. And on the salaries, you're asking
on the street department.
the street department, that's where the landscaper will come in.
Yes, the landscaper and the labor.
The way I'm seeing it, when it comes down that, we got 3 options. We can go back and try and find somebody that has qualifications and bring them in, or find somebody that, is we can hire and train and get them to that level, and then you're looking at a promotion. Or, as you guys said, you go back and possibly look at a contract, but by the time you put in everything in there that we talked about in the contract,
It's gonna be high.
yeah.
I was talking with Ben and I asked him, he had asked me, were we gonna hire somebody or gonna keep it on contract? Like I told him no, and we were discussing it. And I done some figuring with that 2,100 a year. It's just gonna, that would be 25,000, but all this stuff that we really need done is gonna boost that price up there. So, but that's gonna put the price on. I wouldn't be scared to say that you'd be looking at $30,000 to $40,000 a year contract to do really what needs to be done.
And then you don't have a certain amount of control
Yeah, that's
once you let the contract. I just like, of course, I've said it before, I'd like to see us hire somebody. I mean, with our situation like it is, with jobs and all that, hopefully we could find somebody, and like you say, train them, and you can send, I'm sure there's all kinds of schools and
Yeah, we could get
stuff
with
like that.
Jack Rowe and them and find out about school.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what we'll do, right now, we'll leave it in as the, landscape. And, we come back and make a decision as to whether or not we go and we try and hire somebody at a lower grade and then to train them and move them up. So we feel we get the position filled.
Well, on the street department budget is 35. All right, telephone, I left it the same. Departmental supply is 1,800 on the telephone. Departmental supply is 3,500. Equipment and tools, 45. Equipment repairs, left it at 20. I know we hadn't spent nothing about half of it, but I got some tires to buy, and also I got to get some more blades and bearings and stuff for the mowers and tractors. And on fuel and oil, I left it, at 25,000. Now, vehicle maintenance, I left it at 9,500. The reason we're so far over now is because of that, motor and all that went out in that truck. And that kind of messed us up. So, but we can leave it at 9,500. We should be all right unless something happens again, but I hope it don't. Employee welfare, 650. All right, and I'd like to leave the 200 in there for travel in case the guys may have to go somewhere. Now, I had, you was talking about training and all. I had thought about that, but really it's gonna be hard right now to tell, because I don't know what classes or anything they would have to go to. That's the reason I didn't put nothing under training. So I may have to come back with that once we decide what we're gonna do. And see what that's gonna cost. And then, uniforms, I left it at 1,500. I know we hadn't spent that much because I hadn't had to buy that many uniforms this year. But way it looks now, I'm gonna have to buy some for the landscaper and the laborer for hire them. And plus, my guys this year, here'll be one coming up where I have to replace some of the uniforms. Of course, we are saving a lot of money because it used to be several years ago, it was about $7,000 a year. We
That
cut that
was
way
a
down.
good win for you, it really was. Most of them were taking them home and washing them anyway.
You didn't
Not
have
even
them,
letting
but
it do service.
one or two people that would turn them in.
Yeah, that's
And-
what we got to me a lot of times. People just, they lose them on the other end and stuff, and so they just take them home themselves.
And now professional services, I left it at 45,000. But now I have heard, I've talked with Katrina, and some of the reasons she is getting hard for her to find people to come out here with us is because of the pay. So, we may want to look at that. And I think it's $8, but they actually get 12 of it. But I'll be honest with you, if they gonna keep on going up on the amount that they get versus what they actually paying employees, we might as well do it ourselves and take the chance of course, the reason I don't like, because I don't went through. There's 4 of them that's worked with us, but I think we've done been through like 10 this year alone. So, we really need to look at it and see if we're saving money in the long run by not doing all the drug tests and all the stuff, it's costing us to hire somebody. Let them handle that and let them worry about workers' comp and all that. But, like right now, we're paying what, 12 something an hour?
I think so. Our main thing was the unemployment.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the
Because-
thing, the clincher on that thing, but we don't have a YMCA anymore, and that's where some of those were pool people.
Yeah.
But it's,
But the thing about it, and I don't know why they let them do it. They come out here and work 6 months, but they let them draw full unemployment off of it.
That should never been.
Well,
But it was,
Yeah.
and
So-
then that charged it back against us.
If, we just gonna have to figure out if we still gonna save money or, just go through the trouble.
How
What?
much does she pay them an hour?
$8, $8.50, I think, 8 or $8.50.
$8.50. See, we adopted a $10 minimum wage.
Yeah, but I mean, that's
If we,
different situation, because it's not under us.
yeah,
Right, but I was saying if we hired those folks.
Yeah,
listen,
you're right.
Even if we hired them as seasonal. And got away from them. I guess we just have to look at.
But then again, like you said, there's workman's comp involved in it, there's unemployment in it, and then administration of the whole thing. And then the fact that if we drug test them and they work 2 weeks, and we gotta do another one again, I mean, there's a lot of.
and two, a lot of trouble I was running into is we would hire them at this council meeting and they wouldn't even make it to the next council meeting. And then we'd have to go through the process trying to find them more. And see, she's constantly got people already, well, this year it's been kind of
A
hard.
little more so. We used a good bit
Yeah.
last year and it worked pretty good, but we
And-
did have a lot of turnover too.
And two, you know, it's a good thing with them because if they come out there and they don't want to work, I ain't got to do nothing but tell them to go see Katrina and call her and tell her what the problem is. Because we can work them 1 hour, we can work them 8 hours. You know, or if we need to send them home, you know, because of the weather or something.
It's raining or something, he can send them home on that. If not, they're on our payroll.
Yeah.
I got it.
And we said, we went through it. I had one person, we had from, I guess, August to January, we used a bunch of them because we were putting that new stuff in and there were some new jobs that we knew were going to be gone away with. We had one person that made it, we start off at 8, we had one made it all the way through, and then we probably wound up going through 15 or so during that.
Now, the reason I mentioned that, do y'all want me to get with her and get her to do some figures on what it would cost if we raised them up to $9, $10 an hour? You know, what they actually get paid? Because, you know, right now it's $8.50 and they charge $12.50 or something like that.
I can't remember.
But they're gonna charge so much on top of what they pay, so it's
Yeah.
gonna go up to 13 or
Well, they
14.
You know, take care of their stuff, because they pay
Yeah.
the workers' comp and
Yeah,
all that
and they gotta
stuff.
make money off of it too.
Yeah,
I think if we contracting with them, you know, we stay where we at.
Yeah, I think whatever they're doing is not gonna be no benefit to us one way or the other.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna move to 6545 shop. All right, departmental supplies, I left everything the same, 1,200 on departmental supplies. On tools and equipment, I left it at 1,000. I know we've used a little over half of it, but the thing about it, we hadn't, you know, air guns and nothing like that, we had to replace, you know, we hadn't had to replace none of them, and that's, you know, where the money comes in. Now, on equipment repair, that there again, we actually use some of that money because we like to have the jet cleaner, the pressure washer and all that. And sometimes we will use some of that if we don't have enough in my budget for the gas pump. You know, we can draw from it too.
So you're gonna leave it the same?
Yeah, I'm gonna leave it at 2,000.
You don't wanna put anything in all them other blanks, try to get.
No. All right, the next one is 6080 yard waste.
That one in front of them and behind this other. Fire department, my next one.
Park and rec.
Afterwards.
Park and rec.
Yes.
Yeah, it's almost that one. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, departmental supplies, I left it the same at 100. We hadn't used none this year, but now next year I'm probably gonna have to buy some more of those door tags and tags we have to make to put on piles and stuff, telling people what's wrong with them and everything, why we can't pick it up. Equipment tool, I left it the same, 200. Equipment repair, I left it at $1,000. Actually, that equipment repair actually is mainly for the leaf machine. And I'd like to leave it at 1,000 because hopefully we won't have to buy no tires this coming up year, but we may have to because it's been a couple of years since we put tires on it. And those tires wear out fast, turning all on all these streets and stuff. So I'd like to leave it at 1,000. Fuel and oil at 12,000, just leave it where it is. And And the reason for that is, I know it's kind of high, but if we have like a hurricane or something, we'd be running both the trucks all the time. And that will eat up a lot of fuel. So I'd like to leave that up like that. So vehicle maintenance, I'd like to leave it at 7,000. I know we hadn't spent that much, but you gotta look now, that truck's 2 years old and the other one's older than that, so we didn't have to cover replacing parts on them. All right,
You probably
employee,
wanna buy a new one next year.
nah, I can wait a couple more years. Employee welfare, $100, leave it there. Landfill fees, I'd like to leave it at 3,000. I know we don't never use that much of it, but don't never know when we may have to. We got that cleanup this Saturday, yeah. But now that won't cost us
It doesn't
nothing.
cost us anything, but if people don't take more advantage of it, I don't see continuing it. They're not bringing enough out there to justify having pay the overtime on Saturday to do it. Unless there's a big turnaround this Saturday, my recommendation is that we.
What again, it's, you're accepting, what things you?
Couches, chairs, anything that's, like that. And now, anything that's not household garbage, anything that's not considered household. You can bring dishwashers, yeah, anything. You know, anything that would go to the county landfill, we'll accept. We actually have a pan out there for the metal and stuff, so it over in. Of course, ain't nothing in there because anybody brought that. You know, all we got is a couple couches and a few mattresses and stuff. But yeah, any kind of home furniture and no electronics. We are on the electronics now. She hadn't got back with me. I don't think the company's actually come up here yet. Because she hadn't got back with me, but there's a company in Mobile that's actually accepting electronics right now. And they actually, all the proceeds go to different charities. And they're gonna try them out and then let me know how they do. And if it's all legit, you know, maybe we could talk to them and get them to set up some kind of drop-off point up here, take TVs and stuff. Now, from what I understand now, they can't take older model TVs, nothing with tubes or nothing in it. It's got to be the newer type stuff.
They design them to throw away anyway.
Yeah. Y'all want to talk a little bit about capital improvement, ABC fund?
Yeah, I'll tell you, before we jump off in there, I had Mike tell me about one of his biggest accomplishments for you. And one of the biggest ones was getting the lake revitalized down there. We've been real successful at it. All of the fish, the bluegill, the catfish, and bass have been stocked.
Everything been in there now?
Yes, sir. Everything's in there now, and we even have bluegill spawn.
Yeah.
So if you couple that with everything that probably came in there with the beaver dam, we ought to have a bunch of fish.
There's some bass in there already that long.
Now, Mike,
There is, that come from out of that beaver, when that beaver dam bust.
okay, I was going to say, they ain't growed up that
No,
quick this
the
year.
other one, the one we put in there now, but there is some in there.
And they're eating up everything now.
No, not really. The minnows we put in there, the fathead minnows, they actually have spawned too, because man, we've seen blue coodles, the little old bitty ones. And then, the other minnows that come down but they have, you know, we got a good population and they're growing good. We actually, every now and then I go over with cast net when they would throw some food out there and throw a cast net out there and look at them and bring them in. They're looking, you know, pretty good.
Can you throw a cast net?
No, but Tim throws.
Yeah, as an art there, to throw a cast net.
And the other good thing about it, is you put those fish attractors in there
Yeah.
before we fill the lake. So the basket, the other small fish, they got somewhere to go and get some protection so they can't eat them all. The big problem is turtles.
Yeah, there are some turtles.
Yeah, and they've been steady getting them out.
We've gotten a little over 200 out of that.
You know you can take care of turtles, don't you? The two-way take care of curls. Go on with a gun, another with alligator.
Well, we got a zoo down there already.
Oh, yeah, we got
The alligators will take care of the ducks
have
and geese.
got-
So
2 hawks that are, they building a nest, so they fixing a nest. And one's a big old hawk. We got coyotes, foxes, deer galore with that. There's one big old brook. All right, we got, now I ain't seen the otters or beavers no more. That one that morning, I think I got his attention. But, I ain't seen them no more. Of course, they really don't move much during the summer. This fall, we'll be able to tell, you know, but, there's plenty of wildlife over there.
As a matter of fact, we might eventually have to try and get somebody to come in and trap some of them.
Yeah. Well, the thing about it, there's one guy that's gonna bring us 4 more ducks. And everything that the ducks laid this year, the fox eat them. You know, fox and coyotes eat them. And so, you know, and the duck, we lost one duck. I don't know what happened.
we got to put a duck house over there.
Something tore his head off.
Oh.
I figured it was a fox or something, or one of them coyotes. Cause we found a head and hard to do. But
And Public Works has done a lot of other things. When it came down to talking about, working on that sidewalk project and working with Jeremy, I think that's gonna be a big success. The other thing I had made mention about, Michael looked at it, is doing that traffic oval down there at 47 and 21. And AlDOT is excited about possibility of getting that done. So next council meeting, we'll probably bring that up so that we can get, Jeremy and them, from what he told me is that they will write the A-Trip grant and we're charging for it. And so we'll get that to AlDOT and let AlDOT do the time work. So he's gonna be talking about, that's gonna be a lot of money.
yeah, and see, it's 100% if the AlDOT does the engineering and stuff. Because they're paying their own people.
So, capital improvement.
But on capital improvement, first thing I got on it is sidewalk repair. You know, we normally put about $20,000 a year in that.
Oh, this is capital improvement, it's one of those ones that stand up.
One tall.
It comes before that.
Been there one time.
Yeah. He said sidewalk repairs.
6902.
Yeah, I would like to, you know, $20,000.
Would you?
All right. Now on the paving project, have y'all thought in about how much money y'all want to put in paving this coming up here?
Well, we put what, 350? I'd say at least that.
Well, what I was thinking, if we could go 350, and I would like to go ahead and get all the Park Drive all the way around the community house redone and do that widening.
You go ahead, if you, I'm
Well,
gonna strangle somebody if they don't widen that thing when we do this. We got.
I got Paxton and them to do up a little plan.
Doesn't make sense to spend $500,000 and not have it.
Oh, done right this time.
And
Last week, well, the current budget, you know, 600,000.
well, that was we was anticipating on getting that 250 from the grant.
We had.
And we didn't get it. But now, I got them to do that cost estimate on that right there, and all of it, $318,550.
Just around the lake.
Yes. That's with doing that widening, and that's also restriping everything. That widening right there, see, we're gonna need a retainer wall right there to keep that bank from sloughing off. And the thing about it, reading this, is the cost on there, if we didn't have all them wide spots back up the road.
Yeah, I think for whatever reason.
And we had actually looked, and I got them to do some estimating on taking some of those spots out, but putting some parking down there and kind of just narrowing them in some. And that would have put the cost of this project up close to 500,000.
What's this, proposed resurfacing, option B?
Yeah, now that's what we've done. I wanted them to break it down in case it come in too high. This is the main part, and this is option B right here.
But now that estimate's for all of it.
Yeah, the bottom line for all of it. It's just got the top part of this here, the 248.50 is from right here all the way back around here. The 70,500 from right here back around the other side of the lake. And it all comes out to 318,550.
Now you're doing, what's it, Overlook or what it was?
Yeah, we're doing
Briarfield.
Briarfield now.
Now, that doesn't show that little gap in between.
Well, now, a matter of fact, you remember back maybe 5-6 years ago, we went in there and done that little section
Okay.
from right there at Park Drive back over to
Okay.
to Briarfield. We done that because that had got started eating out.
That's a tight little spot right in there.
Yeah. 318. But if we could leave 350 in there for the paving project this year, and the reason I say 350, this project here, I'm thinking that 318 may come in a little bit lower whenever we do bid it out. But now
It's 69.
Yeah, 69.15. So you won't put 350 in it.
yeah. And the reason for that is there may be some other spots that we may have to hit this year.
Is there any of this other money going to be possibly available this year?
Well, we possibly could get to 250 this coming up year. We could possibly get
You know,
that.
if we get that, then we'd probably look for sure doing the Vanity Fair thing. But we don't want to put all our money in that one hole this year, I don't believe.
Well, what I was thinking, now I done a 5-year plan and I got it. I didn't make everybody, I didn't make all copies of it right now. But the streets, and I went through and I tried to do the best I could on evaluating them and all, but I don't have no Borger to take samples and nothing like that and get them sent off and get it. But, you know, we have a lot of streets that may be bumpy going down them, but the asphalt's still in good shape. You know, we got some that may just need some leveling and stuff. But I went through and I tried to start out with the worst streets and come down this list and everything. And like I say, you know.
Thelma's not here. You could give us that sheet. You know.
I'll make y'all a copy.
But
Thelma,
Yes.
we gotta have this one here.
and see that's the thing about it. Whenever I was going around, I just went around and I had a pad when I go down the street and I was measuring it, looking at it, and I put a number out beside 9 of 1 through 5. And 1 was the worst. And that's the way I done them. And we're gonna have some streets, like I say, if we put 350 in there and we have $40,000 left over, that could be where we could go in on some of these streets and do a little leveling. And that's all you would really need right now. And just like over there on South Mount Pleasant, right there at South Mount Pleasant Bigger, actually all we need to do is go in there and fix that little intersection. But it's gonna have to be milled down and, resurfaced. And, you probably, of course, by the time you mill it and everything, you're gonna be looking at $4,000 or $5,000 right there. And there's some spots we can do that too, and that would, we wouldn't have to pave the whole street. And there's some you can go in and level. Of course, they're gonna sink again because you got sewer lines.
Yeah.
But you got some of these streets that are bad. That's just like Avenue over there. The asphalt is breaking down on it. When the rocks start actually coming up out of it, it's time to do something.
So would they have to wait to next year?
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. See, some of these streets, like we could go ahead and do the Vanity Fair project and then take the other $40,000 or whatever we got left over and catch maybe one or two of these streets that's on this list. You know. We could, catch a couple of these smaller ones, we may be able to catch 3 or 4 of the streets. But I want to stress this to you. Being, stretched out over a 5-year period, we don't know what asphalt prices are going to do, what labor prices are going to do, and fuel prices and stuff. So, where Bill's laying price on this last project was $33 a ton. In 2 years, his laying price may be $45 a ton. That's just part of the unknown. And all this is just an estimate on the price. The tonnage is pretty close. And the prices are close, is right at it right now. But, next year it may change, or the year after.
Let's say these are in order of priority.
Yeah, that's the way I tried to do it.
Huh, you're blind then.
What? Which one?
I'll talk to you later about it.
I think just do them all, don't you?
Yeah. That would be the thing.
We ain't got a fire truck this year to buy, we can do half of them.
But all right, on the equipment and stuff. Now, my
I see
main,
what you're talking about.
well, my main priority this year would be a Mini X. And you're looking at $78,419. I don't know, I put too many,
6892.
huh?
I'm telling him the number, 6892.
Yeah, around 78, 79,000. But now, that's on state bid, and that's a Kubota. It's a Mini X. But now, I think if we bid it out, like the ones that like we've been renting, the Yamars, those are not on state bid and not on Sourcewell, but you can get them at a cheaper price. I done talked to the sales rep, and if we bid it out with our governmental discount that they will give us, that we could probably go, $10,000 cheaper than that.
And the reason that I had talked to Michael about the Mini X, because it will help us in doing the maintenance, keeping the maintenance down, deferring it down at the lake.
Yeah.
Because he can go through and take that Mini X and he can dig out that upper end that he's constantly having to rent, but then he can clean that out. And then there's other places that he can use that shovel on in the street projects. And I also talked to him because I don't know if you guys know, it's some streets we drive down, the right of way is overgrown. We can get a head on that to cut all that stuff back and get it done in a small amount of time versus out there guys trying to use doggone weed eaters and chainsaws and all that.
At the first mayor, he has been able to baffle with the bee and accomplish that. He hadn't been able to get another mayor up to this town.
He's dressed in his selling.
That's right.
I think he sells insurance on the side.
I'm
I think that's the
but
problem.
he's brought that up for the last 10 years.
But that Mini X, you can get so many different attachments.
Oh,
to
yeah,
them.
yeah. Okay.
And matter of fact, now,
We knew it was coming, didn't we?
Darlene's wanting to dig that chunk of concrete up out yonder at the Arvin building, get it out of that parking lot. And I told her that we could take our backhoe and dig down beside it and see how deep it is. But if it's very deep, we ain't got nothing that's gonna handle it. But now if you had a Mini X, we could rent a jackhammer for it, put on it and bust it up. And
Boys and their toys.
Yeah.
there's always a use for a Mini X. But yeah, now the second thing
You get off of that now, quick, Eddie.
is a street sweeper.
No,
And now the price
No.
on it is 160,
No.
160,915.
No.
Now, the thing about it now, it's on Sourcewell,
What did you say the price was?
Say it
One
slow.
160,915.
No.
Now, we can do it on a 2-year lease. On the 2-year lease, if the payments would be $3,073.21 a month. And at the end of that lease, Ingram Equipment has guaranteed us $93,500 buyback. That's with them doing the servicing on it. We won't have to do no services. They'll come down and service the machine, make sure it stays in tip-top shape. Now, we will, like if windshield gets cracked or busted or something, we have to replace it. If the tires are not, whenever we get ready to trade it back in, if they don't meet the certain criteria, we're gonna have to replace the tires on, but that's normal on any kind of lease. But the thing about it, and then after that 2 years, we give it back to them and they have us another one here. And now, to me, a little over $30,000 a year is not bad, and so much we can do with it. That's just like when we go down these curbs and edge them. You can go down and curb, edge them, come right behind with that sweeper and clean it up nice.
How much you spend on sweeping that?
$10,000.
Well, the thing about it, we hadn't been able to get them down here because they got contracts with the state and all, and they stay so busy with them and the city of Montgomery, Wetumpka, and the airports and stuff. And it's so hard getting them down here. And
What'd you say?
So
We-
far, we,
5,000.
yeah,
It was gonna be 10 is what, but I thought, she looked at
mhm.
spending about 10.
but the thing about it, we got so many other streets. See, that's just only the streets that's got curb and gutter on them. But you got a lot of these other streets around here that if we could sweep, and these turning lanes and stuff, we can keep them swept. And you really need a sweeper running year round.
What's that mini X thing? I think we can go on with that.
That would be, but now the third thing I had on the list was a new F-150 extended cab. Now, to be honest with you, the landscaper, we got that old truck at Robert drove, but that thing is gonna give us mechanical problem now because of the age and all on in miles. And what I thought about doing, if I could buy a new pickup, an extended cab, it's be a short bed, and give it to Anthony and take Anthony's long wheelbase and give it to the landscaper, because he will need a long wheelbase. And that price on that, the state bid price was $28,775. And now, but I'd also need another $1,200 to put some warning lights on it.
They ask for twice of what you want and you get half, you get exactly what you want. Yeah.
Now, your truck that you've ordered this year still hasn't even come in yet.
I know it. I got to call him back because last month when I talked to him, he said it's in production. But
Mhm.
I don't know, that's the longest production line I ever seen.
I think they can't get those chips.
Well, now, he said this one didn't have the type of chips that they were waiting on,
Oh.
but
One
I
of
do
the
know
things to
now,
push start on vehicles.
yeah,
Mhm.
this one, I don't think I have that. But now, I do know once they get it, they gotta send it to the body company and they got to put the dump body and all on it, so. But I need to call him back on that, but that would be all in capital improvement, unless y'all just want to throw some in there.
We're definitely taking some out. So we don't get that much.
But now on
You
the
take the sweeper out.
on the ABC fund,
ABC.
last year I think it was under equipment and tools for public works.
I just have public works equipment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was 6,800.
Uh-huh.
All right. I would like to leave that the same, of course. Yeah, we could leave that the same.
Okay.
And now also I'd like to add, the radios, two-way radios in our truck. I know there's a couple of them I need to replace, and then there's some antennas and some mics and stuff we're going to replace, and all that stuff together. I got a quote from, it's going to be around $2,100 $2,169.42. And that's for 2 radios and then some extra mics and antennas. All right, and then on the security cameras at the shop, I got 2 of them, one of them completely out, and I got one of them, 2 of them that are going out. I got them, Monaco to come out there and check them, and they darken up, and there's no adjustment on those type that we got to. He said that ain't what it is. Some of them you can adjust the light and stuff, but he said they're just going out. Because some of them cameras, we've had them for years now.
I would put it in there, but when I talked to the camera guy, if we can put that type camera out there, that's gonna have a direct feed into the police station. They can watch all that.
Okay. All right, it was,
1335.
yeah, 1335.
Yeah, we'll put it in there, but if it comes out, you know, I got it covered on that price.
Okay.
Little bump there, wasn't it?
Mhm.
All right, I think that about wraps mine up. Unless y'all want to
Just go ahead and take the sweeper out and we'll talk to you.
Oh, that,
Then you got all the brushes you gotta buy for that.
well, the thing
And you
about
got
it,
the labor to run the thing.
well, I told him when I was talking to him that we need to go ahead and get some brooms and stuff in on this, you know, when we first buy it. That way, maybe they, you know, because a broom will last longer if the operator pays attention to what he's doing. That's the bottom line. You can wear a broom out fast or you can wear it out slow. It's just the operator's gonna have to control that. And because the last time we had a sweeper, that's what I preached to the operators. You control how fast that broom wears out. Because you get all the way up next to that curb and keep bearing it up there, it's gonna wear it out. All you want to do is get just close enough to throw the dirt back out. But on the paving project, I know the back side of the lake, the south side of the lake, that part of Park Drive, we got to do something over there.
It's bad. It's
Yeah.
bad.
And then, you know.
And that could be done separate from the other.
Yeah, but down the front side over there, that